back to work. Last night, I had Sun Yat-sen is a really helpful person. He really helps with a lot of things. He helps you understand. You got to understand, guys. He was he wasn't business partners with Mao Zedong or Chiang Kai-shek or any of those guys and stuff like that. He was teaching people to stop and eliminate abuse and then recover from that abuse. And he was so his prayer, he was living prayer. He was living meditation, people talking to the line of, Confucius and Tao and stuff. And these other people were jealous of him because they wanted to replace him with their propaganda. Like most of the stuff that you read in Mao Zedong's Little Red Book is stuff he typed from Sun Yat-sen. Like your words aren't even shit because you can't even fertilize a field with your words. It's like Roundup. And he told them that. He goes, eventually, the people like you, they'll spray poison everywhere to kill and then try to take what they think is theirs and put it on death and try to bottle it and sell it as life. And their death will bring them nothing but their own demise and will be the only way that life can continue. Is when the devil dies, that song, I started a joke by the Bee Gees, when the devil finally is trapped in its own hell and eliminated by its own devices is when the rest of us can truly live. That's why it's survive, stop, eliminate abuse, and recover. Okay. So if you're foolish enough to believe in your propaganda and your propaganda puppet seducers, and once you become one of them, you are them, right? And so I was sitting there, I was laying down last night. I was like, because my worst day is when I was in Sheridan, Wyoming, and my stepdaughter was 7 years old, and the Temple Set Illuminati had a quote legal virtual presence. They still do in everybody's house, just about. Except for maybe Donald Trump's, because they can't do that because he has because of national interest and security, and people like that. But as far as myself, I'm just an average everyday citizen that's considered a enemy of the state because my dad was a member of the NRA when I was a kid, and when I was in Sierra Vista and they told me I was the 1322nd Redeemer, I made videos for Osama bin Laden and Mahmoud Ahmadinejad because I knew what I was doing. I needed to give them permission to come in and publicly try to turn me into a enemy of the state. Okay, so I was doing, I had to give people real Christianity, real Islam. Okay. When you do that, you allow the devil in the house, and the devil can do anything they want publicly, and then try to attack you and use their make-believe laws to circumvent your understanding and your humility and your faith of natural laws given to us by infinite glory. They're going to try to attack your faith in infinite glory and replace it with their finite delusions of manipulation. And, both my wives were heinously sexually manipulated and abused as kids. And that's why Jesus told me in prayer I had to marry them, because I had to understand when I married Stephanie, she didn't know how to explain, because she wasn't raised by upper middle class white people or upper middle class, Claire and Cliff Huxtable, to explain her bipolar and her this and her that, and all the things that go with Nuts, Barbra Streisand's character from Nuts. And Stephanie would black out, and so would Amy. And with Stephanie would go into psychotic fits of rage and try to physically kill you or tell you she was going to kill you. And then afterwards, you want to make love? No, you just talked about shoving a knife that you sat for 2 hours over the bed contemplating shoving a knife between my ribs because I was exhausted because I'm in the U.S. military and we've had to work. And I told her, I said, it's not my, I would explain to her too. I said, it's not my fault. But it's the same thing that child molesters and alcoholics do. They sit and tell you, and they get real calm, and they tell you, it's, I want to sleep, so don't kill me, And you're like, what? And it's like, yeah. So you don't think you're doing the same thing because you're not a liar. But you got to understand, liars study good and honest and faithful people and then act like they're them. And that's what my ex-wife used to do to me. They would tell me, you do this and that and that. And I go, that sounds horrible. I'm so sorry. I made you feel that way. And then you'd walk off and you'd apologize for her cheating on you and having sex with other people. And then you'd go, wait a minute. She just told me that I was her and that's why she did to me that horrible thing. Fuck, you did that to me and then you went and did that son of a bitch. And you do it because you have children and you want the children to have a good life. And they're not going to have that good life with their biological mothers. It's not going to happen. Their biological mothers aren't going to say, we should live the Lord's Prayer of Jesus Christ and get the people that are torturing me out of the house now. They're not going to do it. Okay, it's not going to happen. But the people that sexually abused and compromised with Stephanie, it was more like they tested me. With Amy was groomed by the group called the Temple Set Illuminati. Amy was born in 1980. Stephanie was born in 1969. That's a huge gap between what the espionage industry can do with the sexual molestation through tribalism of a child to study and manipulate and say, see if this guy can fix it. See how wonderful this guy is. See how amazing he is. See, see if he's better than Sigmund Freud. See if he's better than Dr. Spock. See if he's better than all our professionals. And I am. Okay. When on the worst day of my life was, I was sitting there and me and Natalie, I was trying to be affectionate, because she was not affectionate. She would not be affectionate with you. That's because she had sexual grooming and stuff that I was unaware of that affected her mother, that affected her, and I didn't know. When we were in Santa Fe and I was sitting there playing a video game in mine and Amy's bedroom, and in the guest room, the 5-year-old came up, was laid naked on the bed. I guess after she got out of the bath or the shower or something. I don't think so, because, I didn't. When I was 5, I made sure I was present, making sure that she was okay, because they're little kids, in the shower. So I'm sitting there playing a video game. No one's taking a nap, and the 5-year-old is masturbating on the bed in the guest room across from my bed in the bedroom where I'm playing the video game in the bedroom, the master bedroom. And I look and I sit there and I felt like a deer in the headlights. I was like, what the hell is this? What the hell is going on? And as a human being, you sit there and go, okay. The animal instinct in you goes, whoa, okay, well, I know that, and that's a nice thing. That's a fun thing. But this is not fun, and it was the most uncomfortable situation I'd ever been in. And I just sat there like a lump on a log, and I was waiting for it to stop, and it didn't stop. So my body was reacting, so I got up and went into the bathroom. And I looked into the mirror, and I said, Jesus, did you see that? What was that? Jesus, And Amy came home, and I told Amy about it. And she said, oh, no, that's normal. That just happens. I said, no, I had 4 sisters, and that never happened to me. Not once. Not once, So do I need to talk to her about it? No, it's just normal, blah, 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 right? So I was like, okay. And we had other things that put up red flags and stuff before that when we were in Surprise. And Amy said that, one time because I had asked Patrick, did you touch Natalie or anything? Because Amy took Natalie to the hospital and they said this and that. And I thought, and then afterwards, I didn't think about it till years afterwards. Just like, no, if the hospital, the first thing they would have done is brought in the cops and the Nazis and grilled me and Patrick, and because I'm the stepdad. And that didn't happen. So Amy lied to me. I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. Yeah. So then when I was 7 and Natalie came up and was affectionate to me and things got weird and sexual and my body reacted and I felt like a monster. Then I kind of pushed her away. I didn't get affectionate after that. I was kind of more just like, hi, shake hands, because I didn't want that to ever happen again. That was a horrible feeling. And I thought it was because I was working with sex offenders at normative services that there was some kind of connection there. And no, it had nothing to do with the kids in Wyoming at that incarceration center. It had everything to do with the federal government and the Temple of Set Illuminati. It made me feel like I grouped with bad people when they were bad people. And when I got angry at that guy Jeff, who got fired because he was inappropriate with our kids at NSI. He said, those little perverts, they fuck their own siblings and stuff like that. And I sat there and said, you have listened to their stories. It happened to them, and then nobody stopped it. Nobody dealt with it, and it kept happening. And now, like I always tell them, you can stop it. You can talk about it. We can deal with it. We can stop it. We can stop it from happening again. That kind of behavior can stop with you. You can be the protector, the shepherd, the hero. And I'd always use my dad and my brother-in-laws as examples of, for stepping up and stopping, because my dad did that with my grandpa. He stopped alcoholism, and he went in there in the room with my grandpa came from the bar and was beating up my grandma, grabbed the kitchen knife and go hit my mom son one more time, you son of a bitch. And my grandpa left, and my mom and grandma never forgave him. She was mad at him for that. And my dad couldn't understand it. It was really hard on him. And so, that was the worst day of my life, was that day that reaction thing happened, and I had to push Natalie away because I didn't understand it. And then when we went to Sierra Vista, they just kept manipulating it more, and it just got worse. And I kept asking Jesus for prayer, help me through this. And he did. So I made right decisions, and they took the kids away, and they had professionals deal with the kids and totally Patty Hearst Stockholm Syndrome the kids and make me look like this pervert and this monster, and try to make all the people in the Temple of Set Illuminati and business partners look like they're heroes, saving us with philanthropy and denying the Lord's Prayer and the Messiah. People like Jesus are perverts and child molesters and all that shit. It's like, I'm not the Vatican. I'm not the fuckers at White Sands, and I'm not the fuckers at Fort Bliss or Fort Huachuca or at the university sitting there just, here's some drugs and survive the rape, and let's make a play about what happened to you when you were young so we can make millions of dollars off of our dysfunction instead of live the Lord's Prayer. Like, God, that's horrible. Yeah, son was telling me about it last night. I was like, he goes, every horrible situation that happened in your life was due to home invasion through corporations like the Vatican, the Mormon Church, and the Pentagon, trying to compete with you to say that they protect women and children better than you do. Okay. And every problem that your family got into and stuff like that was from home invasion by them taking them, giving them their professionals, or the women accepting the dysfunction and going out to the bars and becoming, bringing home drug dealers and dating drug dealers and having, with my second ex-wife, it was at Fort Huachuca, and having sex with military predators that were trained by the people in the Illuminati. So I know what I'm dealing with, and I know how I have to deal with it. And I'm going to have to get their technology to be more like me and less like the people doing this. And it makes people uncomfortable. Of course it made people uncomfortable. It made me more uncomfortable than ever. And, Natalie is a brave person trying to survive this, and so is Amy. And Stephanie, too. She wasn't given help. She was given abuse. And I'm not going to allow that to happen anymore. And I can tell the technology what to do, because I'm truthful and they're liars, and I'm right and they're wrong, and I'm good and they're bad. Okay? So this is your spider web.